Heroes Pokeforce here. So, in the last couple of days, Nintendo has released a huge amount of Pokemon information, like a veritable smorgasbord of Pokemon intel. There's just so much that they released about Pokemon Sun and Moon, and I'm super excited. I recorded like 2 or 3 different videos about the subject. I was so excited, talking a million miles a minute, and I'm probably still talking really fast, but I just wanted to go over the new information with you guys and just show you what they gave us, talk about it a little bit, and at the end we're going to have a few theories and thoughts about what this new information means. So the first thing that Nintendo gave us was they actually gave us some new forms of older Pokemon. As you can see here, we have new Pokemon, or I should say old Pokemon, in a new, interesting looking look. We have the Alolan Exeggutor, who is now a dragon type. He's 35 feet tall. He's actually now one of the biggest Pokemon in the game. The first Pokemon I can think of that's bigger than the Alolan Exeggutor would be Wailord at 40 feet long. But supposedly the Alolan people boast that this is actually the true form of Exeggutor, and this one has a 4th head on its tail, which can behave independently of the rest of the body. It excels at whipping its long neck to lash, and actually in the new trailer that they gave us, you can see Exeggutor doing just that, so I expect that will be some form of new attack for him. We also got Alolan Vulpix, which is now an ice type with the ability Snow Cloak. And Vulpix in particular I find very interesting because it is said that it came to the Alola region together with humans, so it's actually an invasive species. Vulpix in this case is not native to the Alolan Islands, and it went to the Snowy Mountain peaks to avoid the normal habitats of other Pokemon. So this one had the decency to, rather than drive out the natives, it went to try to find a home for itself and ended up in the snowy peaks, and it adapted to that environment. So it can freeze anything solid by expelling breath at a temperature of negative 58 degrees Fahrenheit, and it doesn't fare well in the heat. So actually, it's very interesting in that it's pretty much the exact opposite of regular Vulpix. Regular Vulpix is fire, whereas Alolan Vulpix can't stand the fire. Now, then, of course, Alolan Vulpix evolves into Alolan Ninetales, and the interesting thing about Alolan Ninetales is that its typing is Ice Fairy, and I don't believe we've seen that combination just yet until this Pokemon. And the Alola region, Alolan Ninetales lives on a snowy peak that is revered in the Alola region as a holy mountain, so that's really interesting. It produces ice crystals. It also has the Snow Cloak ability. It looks a little more ethereal. I actually like the look of Alolan Ninetales better than regular Ninetales. It just looks very flowing and elegant versus the regular Ninetales, which has a red eye and kind of looks a little sinister. But it's really cool, so I'm really digging that. And then Sandshrew and Sandslash got new forms as well. They are both Ice Steel type, also with the ability Snow Cloak. Sandshrew looks kind of like an igloo here. It's got thick plating of snow and bricks on him. He looks really interesting. It's kind of interesting that he's now 4 times weak to fire, and he loses his electricity resistance, or at least he loses his electricity immunity. And it says that he's slower than a normal Sandshrew, so that to me means a unique set of base stats, not just new typing and ability, but unique base stats. But the claws on its hand and feet allow it to move across ice without slipping. It'd be nice if its ability actually referred to that. Can you imagine if it had higher, well, maybe that's what Snow Cloak does, higher evasiveness in the snow. I'm honestly not that familiar with Snow Cloak as an ability. None of the Pokemon I regularly use have it, but that would make sense. You got higher traction in the snow, it's easier to move around and get out of the way. Slides along the ice like a curling rock. That's pretty funny. And then Alolan Sandslash, look at this guy. He looks so badass. Weight of ice that covers its body makes it heavier than normal Sandslash and also causes it to be slower. So again, you're looking at a different set of base stats for this Pokemon. It seems really interesting in that way. Lives deep in the mountains, and there's great danger of becoming stranded, so it's forbidden to climb the mountains without permission. And its back actually kind of looks like snow, like steep snowy peaks. It's a lot more dangerous looking than regular Sandslash, a lot spikier. I like the look of it. But these are the 5 Pokemon that they gave us that are older Pokemon. You may notice all Generation 1 Pokemon that are moving forward to Generation 7 in a whole new way. And they also gave us a whole bunch of new Pokemon. These 4 right here, we'll start with those. And we have the Fomantis Sickle Grass Pokemon, which is a grass type and has the ability Leaf Guard. It's a nocturnal Pokemon and but performs photosynthesis while it sleeps during the day. Fomantis is actually a really cute Pokemon, but what I really like about it, it excels at long-range attacks like Razor Leaf and Solar Beam, but what I really like about it is Lurantis. It's evolved form, and Lurantis is also grass type, also with Leaf Guard, and Lurantis can learn this brand new move called Solar Blade. They also showed that us in the trailer, and it's basically kind of like Solar Beam. It's a 2-turn grass type move. You spend a turn charging up, and then you spend a turn unleashing it. In fact, if you look at the video, it's kind of like Lurantis aims a Solar Beam at the sky and then just slams it down. And it's called Solar Blade. It's probably physical. I don't see 2 moves being basically the same thing, both being special attacks. I think one of them has to be physical. Alright, and then we also have what here is the evolved form of Yungoos. We have Gumshoes, who kind of looks like a grizzled detective, though he's still got that Donald Trump haircut going on a bit there. He also kind of reminds me of Looker in that his fur kind of opens up in the front like a detective's jacket. Still normal typing, still with strong jaw, but it also has the ability Stake Out. Nothing more really to say about this guy than that. He's not that interesting, to be honest. And we have this new Pokemon called Minior, who's a rock flying type with the ability Shields Down. Now in the video, watching him attack, he looks like he might actually be a special attacker, which is very rare for this typing, especially this combination. But Shields Down, what happens is that when Minior's HP is reduced below half, the rocky outer shell breaks off and its core is revealed. And its core can actually be 4 different colors. And the color of the core, I don't know if that really has any impact on its stats or its behaviors, but I noticed that the 4 core colors are yellow, red, orange, and blue. Maybe that relates to something else in the game. That seems very interesting though. And you may notice that in this screenshot, if we can get a bigger picture of it. No, that's as big as it's going to get. But it has QR codes down in the bottom right hand corner. And that kind of reminds me of this whole talk of QR codes for Pokemon Sun and Moon. Alright, now if we continue scrolling down, we have Mudbray, who is a pre-evolved form for Mudsdale. And it is also a ground type with own tempo and stamina. Mudbray is kind of a cute guy. I really thought there was going to be a pre-evolution from Mudsdale, so I wasn't surprised in that way. It can carry up to 50 times its own weight, so that's kind of something that it and its evolved form Mudsdale have in common. 3 foot tall, little donkey guy, though he could also be a pony. My little Mudbray, my little Mudbray. But in the trailer, it also shows him using a move that I don't believe we've seen before, but we didn't get a name for it. So that's going to be really interesting, looking forward to that. Now, these next 4 Pokemon here are actually all the same Pokemon, but they're different depending on where you encounter them. They're different on different islands. Each is based off of kind of a different dance, where you have the Bale style, and this one is Fire Flying type. You have the Pom Pom style, which is Electric Flying type, and then you have the Pau style, I hope I pronounced that right, which is Psychic Flying type, and finally you have the Sensu style, which is Ghost Flying type. All of them have the ability Dancer, and what Dancer does is that when they witness a dance move, such as Petal Dance, Quiver Dance, Swords Dance, they immediately copy that move and use it for themselves. So that can be really useful, especially since Quiver Dance and Swords Dance are both very powerful and very popular moves. They also have a special attack that mimics the typing of the Oricorio using it. Depending on the typing of the Oricorio, for example, if Sensu style was using it, it would be a ghost type attack. If Pau style was using it, it would be a psychic type attack. So you always got that stab bonus, and it's interesting in that this one attack can be 4 entirely different things depending on which Pokemon is using it. And what we have here, I don't know if is Z moves, and that actually kind of looks like Super Mario Strikers type art there. But the white wristband that we've been seeing up to this point that people have been curious about, that is actually the Z bracelet. And it's pretty interesting in that what you do is that you use a Z ring and a Z crystal. You have the Z ring itself. And when you attach a Z crystal to the Z ring, it allows you to perform a Z move. These are moves that can only be performed once per battle. So it's kind of like Mega Evolution in that respect, but instead of being attached to the Pokemon, at least as far as I've read, it's attached to your Z ring instead. And then your trainer performs kooky looking dance moves, and then your Pokemon performs their Z move, and they're unique to each Pokemon. Each Pokemon type has its own Z move. And actually, you can even get your own toy Z-Ring. I might pick me up one of those. It depends on how small they are. If it's made for a kid, it's not going to fit my fat wrist. It's not going to fit me if it's made for little tykes. But I would love a Z-Ring of my own. Go with my Ash Ketchum hat, which is around here somewhere. And I have an old school Pokedex, and I've always been a huge Poke fan. So the Z moves are really, really cool. There is, instead of gyms, we have what's called the Rights of the Island Challenge. Instead of going to face a gym leader, each island has a challenge trial as well as a challenge leader. I'm going to show you the footage from the trailer where there are the 4 leaders, and these 4 leaders are really interesting because they're a water type, a grass type, an electric type, and a fire type. And these 4 trainer types are, the 4 elements of the starting Pokemon for Pokemon Generation 1. Pikachu, Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle. Those are the starting Pokemon across the respective Pokemon games. But then you have Totem Pokemon at the end of each trial. And the trial Pokemon have like an aura about them. The Totem Pokemon have an aura about them that actually gives them certain bonuses. And they can even call in other Pokemon to join mid-battle. So the battlefield is constantly changing. Alright. And then after you defeat the Totem Pokemon, you get to face off against the Kahuna, as it's called. And the Kahunas are kind of like, I guess, this region's gym leaders, where you face off against them as the final right for that challenge. And the Kahuna that we finally get to see who Hala is, and he's the Kahuna for Melee Island. So that's super exciting news. This is huge. This is super different. The Rite of Island Challenge is very different from every Pokemon game to this point. At this point, it looks like no longer is it Elite Four, no longer is it 8 gyms and then Elite Four and then Champion. Things are going to be different. There's no talk of gyms in here, just the Elite Four, just this Elite Four-esque trial. And actually, we get to see the trial captains here. We got Lana, who's the water type captain, and is a reliable older sister who watches over her younger sisters. Kind of reminds me of Brock. Mallow, mixed with grass types, loves cooking, but I guess she's not a very good cook. Sophocles, good with electric types, and is a mechanic. It seems like every electric type trainer is. And actually, I just noticed his shirt. Check out his shirt. He's got an old school Game Boy with a link cable on his shirt. That's pretty awesome. And then we have Kiawe, captain of expertise in fire type Pokemon, with his Marowak. Huh, he has a Marowak, but he's a fire type trainer. Could it be that Marowak is also an alternate type in this game? Could it be fire type in this game? And maybe we'll learn a little more about the mysteries behind Cubone and Marowak in this game. This is going to be interesting. He studies the traditional dances that have been passed down in the Alola region. So these are our captains, captain by captain. And Kahunas lead each island, which we've already talked about. So far, the only Kahuna that's been revealed is Hala. Oh, and I forgot something. Cool features? Is that where it is? Yes! Poke Rides! Yes! You can finally... There's going to be Pokemon that you can ride in the game. And there's like a Sharpedo and a Tauros and a Mudsdale. Riding a Mudsdale is going to be super sweet. And you can just call on them at any time and they'll come pick you up. So I think this is going to replace HMs, which is super good news. I don't mind, moves like Surf and Earth and Strength and stuff like that. Those moves are still good. They're useful. I like the idea of still being able to learn them. And if you can use your own Pokemon to do the job, that's great. but I don't like being forced to use your own Pokemon to do the job. And the idea that you can just call in a Charizard to give you a ride is just really, really awesome. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything that's been revealed to us so far. It's been a really exciting news week for Pokemon, so I'm really excited by this. I'm even more stoked to see new changes coming out. They gave us a lot of information today, and it just kind of blew my mind. There's so much information here, but we're going to talk about it for just a little bit, because I noticed there's a certain theme kind of prevalent throughout all this information. Vulpix is an invasive species. Your main character is actually an immigrant. He's from Japan, especially if you look at the Japanese live action trailer for Sun and Moon. Your character is a Japanese kid who is moving to Hawaii, basically. And then you have Exeggutor, you have these Pokemon that are in a different form here. Exeggutor supposedly in its true form here in Alola. And then the Rite of Island challenge and the trials speaks more about a heavy cultural influence on this region. And if you know anything about Hawaii, Hawaii is rich with culture. It's got a very strong native culture, the Hawaiian Islands do. So a lot of that seems to be reflected here. And when you consider the fact that you have your character coming in as an immigrant, Vulpix is an invasive species, each of the different cultural dances that the Oricorio do, the fact that Vulpix is an invasive species, it seems like every region has its theme. Like Generation 5 was the truth versus ideal, and this idea that Pokemon were being used as tools. Is that the truth, or is there an ideal to that? And then Generation 6 was about trying to find balance and peace between life and death, because Lysander thought there was too much life on the planet and things needed to be reset. So I guess that's really all the news we have for Pokemon Sun and Moon today, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly had a lot of fun making it 2 or 3 times, because I get super excited and I forget things, and then I remember things, and then I babble like I'm doing now. But I still hope you enjoyed the video. I certainly had fun making it. Please stay tuned for future videos as always. And as always, heroes, I am Pojiforce, and you guys stay awesome. Take care.